Note, we're going to go ahead and get started. Our group is small but mighty tonight, and I will say we do post these, and we get views that way as well. Oh, there's Winter, one of our other board members. So we are going to go ahead, hey Winter, and we're going to get started for this evening. We're going to call this meeting to order, and I want to welcome everybody for coming this evening. I particularly want to thank Dave for coming and being a presenter. I want to remind everybody, Ronald, that this meeting is recorded for posterity's sake.
I know that's why you edit.
That is what, well, but now anything you say is going in. Once I open,
Okay, I
it
understand.
all goes in. So, speaking of editing, so there's just that reminder. I want to be a good steward of our guest time tonight. Dave Baca, am I pronouncing your name correct, Dave?
Yes. Yep.
Dave
Dave.
Baca is the Destination Services Manager. He is he with Visit Galveston. David, can you address this? My brain, I still get Visit Galveston and CVB mixed up. Isn't that just y'all are the new name for CVB?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, you see right there, you already cleared something away up for. Dave has taken, Shauna got promoted and Dave has come in and he's managing the CTA program. And CTA, which Dave will explain to you, is a perfect fit with us as short-term rental partners. And we haven't had anybody from the program over in a couple of years, so we wanted him to come and address our members tonight. So without any further ado, Dave, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Yeah, my title is Destination Services Manager. What that means is that I manage our visitor center, and we're going to have like a little outpost that's going to be in the park board. The visitor center is in the same space as the Chamber of Commerce. We're there right there on 23rd in the Washington building with the Chamber of Commerce. But yes, we are Visit Galveston, and the park board is kind of divided into two pieces. One is the beach and the coastal zone management part of it, and the other one is the tourism side. So Visit Galveston is the tourism side, and we work with everybody in the community on that. I manage the Certified Tourism Ambassador Program. It's a national program that we're with. I think there are something like 60 other locations within the United States. And what they do is provide kind of a platform for training people to interact with tourists and visitors to the community. So there is a program. It usually runs about 3 hours. There's a curriculum that goes along with it. And then there's an exam at the end of that curriculum. It's an open book. You also receive an amazingly long but very detailed and very interesting sort of pre-read document. I think it's at 130 pages right now. It used to be over 200, so I've pared it down a little bit. But it's got anything and everything about Galveston in it. It's a really good sort of visitor handbook for you. So what you'll do to get certified is you go through this training. It's generally in person, but we can also do a Zoom. We've talked about maybe doing a Zoom program for you guys if you're interested in that, to get the training for it. You'll kind of go through the training. You take a little open book exam at the end of it, and then you're certified. You'll get a pen, you'll get a certificate, and then that training is $30 per person, and then it's a $20 renewal every year. You don't have to go through another class or another exam. But what you do need to do is accumulate points. So there's 50 points that go towards your recertification, and those points are pretty much to do anything with tourism. You can get on and research on websites. You can go to events around town. You can come to CTA activities. You can, there are a lot of things that count towards your points, and you just get a certain number of points for doing that. And then at 50 points, you can renew. It's an annual renewal. Yes, ma'am.
Dave, do you mind if I interject? Woody also designated our Strug meetings as
As
eligible for points as
coming to the
well.
meetings count for points. Yes. So there's a lot of things that you can do. Everything, it's very community oriented, right? I mean, it's it's teaching people, teaching our visitors and tourists about our community and what goes on here in the history. We're kind of kicking around some ideas about making almost like a sub ambassador for just history of Galveston, and then maybe also doing like a kids, ambassador program as well. So those are just kinds of things that we're talking about. We usually hold the classes monthly. I think we're talking about Strag maybe doing one in May sometime, and having a Zoom session for that. We've got one coming up that's an in-person session on the 22nd of February. If you go on to ctanetwork.com, that's where you find information about CTA. That's where you can sign up for it, and that's where you'll find where the classes are listed once you've sort of created an account and enrolled. You can't sign up for the February 22nd class. If you want to take that one, it's going to be at the Park Board building at 601 Tremont. I'll have to force you into the class. We kind of shut it down right before the class is, but you can still take it. We've still got, I think, 7 or 8 spaces left on that one. We've got one coming up March the 20th, April 25th, and then again on May 23rd. And those are all the in-person classes. We also have some social activities so that you can meet other CTAs. On February 29th, we're going to be at the Bryan Museum. We'll take kind of a behind the scenes tour of the Bryan Museum, and then kind of slide right into their Thursdays at the Bryan, which is wine and live music. So our social activities kind of go out and look at different sites around town so we can learn a little bit more about them. We're setting another one up for the Pleasure Pier. I think it's going to be May 9th. We're still finalizing that one. So if you take the class, then you can come to the socials. They're free. Usually has wine and some snacks, and we get to learn a little bit more in depth. What this all is in support of is giving information to your short-term rental visitors. We are setting up a little bit more of a robust information network for you to kind of keep you informed. We've got a Facebook page. We're working on it to try to get it sort of revamped, but you can sign up on Facebook, and then we'll, make posts there about things that are going on around town that you can then pass on to your guest. Visit Galveston is always a good site to go to get information. Galveston.com, there's a ton of places that are out there, but we always started Visit Galveston. We've got calendars on there. We've got places to visit on there, restaurant list on there. We're really kind of expanding the kind of information that we've got on there as well. So that's kind of it in a nutshell.
Hey, Dave.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
Good. Thank you for coming and sharing this information with us today. I have a question. I have at least 2 or 3 people who were formerly CTAs, and that they've taken the class, but then their membership has lapsed in some way. Is it that they have to start from the beginning? What's the process?
If they are still in the system, they can just go back in and renew.
Got it.
And it'll be $20. Yeah.
Got it.
And
Okay.
if you've got any questions about that, you can send me the names. It's very easy. It's just DBACA, DBACA at visitgalveston.com. So if you need any information, if you want some more information about it, I'm happy to talk with you. But yeah, if you want to send me their names, I can check and see if they're still active in the system.
Thank you, Dave.
Hey, Dave, I wanted to, one, let you know, if you go to Stroh's Instagram page, if you look under our link tree, we link to Visit Galveston as the
Thank you.
official best site. I mean, we're very lucky on this island that there are tons of good resources, but you guys are the top one. What is the name of the CTA Facebook page?
I actually don't know because Shauna has it, and I think we're going to revamp it. I think it
Okay.
is just like Galveston CTA, but I will get that information to you so you can pass it out.
Yeah, no, I thank you because I'd love to share that with our
Yeah,
oh, there it is. It's Galveston Certified Tourism Ambassadors.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
spelled out. Yeah,
Wait,
There
wait, say it again for me there. Say it one more time.
Galveston
it's
Certified
spelled out.
Tourism Ambassador.
Galveston Surf. Got it.
I'm looking to see if I recognize any of us in the pictures. Cute picture. Yeah, no, honestly, this is a great fit for our what we're doing with our homes because being a good host is more than just taking the rent from the people. People come on they come and stay in our homes because they want to have an experience like a local, and we are a huge part of helping make that happen by sharing the history of the island with them. Ronald, did I see your hand up here?
You did. Two quick questions. One, Dave, I don't recognize you, which is not unusual. Hey, are you new to the park board or Visit Galveston?
I'm right at my 3-month anniversary.
Oh, so you are new. So where did you come from, may I ask?
I retired from Texas A&M at Galveston back
Gotcha.
at the end of September.
Okay, so
And
next question.
uh,
In the past, and I know y'all have had some, but not as many, you used to do like get-togethers for CTA members, like at different places and that kind of stuff. Um, I don't remember any lately, but also do remember that when they have done those, they do door prizes because I have won a door prize every single time. Hint, hint, hint. I do like door prizes, and I'm lucky. So it just thinking about it, I really like seeing others and going to places and letting them see who I am and that kind of stuff. So I would encourage if y'all are going to do more of those. Those are really nice.
Yeah, like I said, the next one we have scheduled is as on Leap Day at the end of February at the Bryan Museum.
Oh, that is that's just for CTA uh
Members.
ambassadors. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I misunderstood. Oh,
yeah.
gotcha. Good deal. Okay. Yep. 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 All right.
So
I love them. Try something new, different though. Just
yeah,
FYI. I know. Go ahead.
and then
I love it.
we'll do Pleasure Pier in May, and I
That's a
might
good
be
one.
able to set another one up in April sometime.
Okay. Yeah. Good deal.
I see Chris's hand up also.
Hey, Dave.
Hi.
So on the social events, is there a way that we can get notified of those coming up, or?
Yes. If you are a CTA member, I will usually email you. I think I've sent one notice out for our upcoming one on the 29th, but if you're not receiving them, number one, check your spam, make sure they're not going there. But if you go back and haven't seen anything from me, let me know and I'll double check. It may be that your email in the system is not hooking in for some reason.
Okay, great.
But I'll usually send them out. We'll get the Facebook page set up here pretty quickly, and things will go out on there as well. And anybody can just join up the Facebook page. Vonda.
Thanks.
Oh, you're muted. Vonda, you're muted.
I love this because it's not just me.
Oh, there we go. I'm sorry. I
Okay.
was looking on my side over on the opposite side of the screen. So is there a brochure information that we can put in our rentals? I don't have any currently, but we'd love to take some and
Yes. I was gonna tell you, you can come by the visitor center. We have we put out a magazine twice a year with a calendar in it and some highlights. The The one, the brand new one does highlight the Bryan Museum, but it's also got a calendar in there. We also have access to things like Waves and Coast Monthly and those kinds of things as well. We have a lot of rat cards in there for
Mhm.
all of the entertainment sites that we have, tours, like carriage rentals and golf cart rentals, and just all of the sites that we've got in town, the museums that we've got. So you can come by and pick up some of those as well, to put out for your guests. So yeah, you can come by and grab some stuff. We'll be happy.
But you have one specifically for Visit Galveston?
Um, we don't have one that's really other than just says go to Visit Galveston. We're pretty much on our website. That's where we stick
Gotcha, okay.
everything.
Okay.
Well, other than the magazine, then we don't really have one of the cards for it.
It'd be nice to have the, I guess the primary activities all listed together. I know, and we have a rack of, cards in our business, but it would be nice to have, something where everything is kind of together. The first, 20, 25 events, on the island, activities of the island. We don't have anything like that currently. So I was just curious.
Yeah, I mean, we do keep a fairly current calendar at Visit Galveston. Galveston.com is for a resource. They're an excellent resource. I go to them, so they have their calendar is a lot more expanded. It's got a lot more daily sorts of things on it. We keep track of the bigger events that are going on in town. So yeah, both of those sites are good. But yeah, Visit Galveston should have and we've got, we're kind of working on a piece of software for our group sales where you can put together itineraries. I'd love to be able to develop something that for individuals. So
That would be
go onto our
great.
website and build, look
Yes.
at all the things they want to do and kind of build their own schedule and agenda for their visit here. So
That would be fabulous.
yeah,
Yes.
we're looking at it.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yes, ma'am.
Dave, a couple of things. One, again, I feel like we are such a good natural pairing, our two organizations, because we are something that's eligible for CTA points. Is there any chance we could, in your membership, do you know that, okay, this group of people are short-term rental owners, or do you not have people sort of cordoned off?
I need to go back and look and see what our categories. I mean, you can put your business name in there and those kinds of things. You could put Strug in there if you wanted to. I don't remember what the categories are to drop down, but I'll look at those and get the information to you.
Well,
But
and
yeah, you
it'll
can put a
say-
lot of information in there so we can find you.
Well, I was about to say the other thing is I'd love to make you aware of when our meetings are that you can share it with your membership as
Certainly.
well.
Certainly.
Because I think that again we have a natural cross population.
Yep.
I looked at y'all's Facebook page. Stroke has a Facebook page which is very outward looking, and we push content that people can then interact with the content. We also have an interior Facebook group where our members can resource each other. Have you guys ever considered having a CTA Facebook group as well, where CTAs can network with each other?
Yeah, we have, and that's one of the things we're kind of doing we'll set something up like that for Facebook. So it's just not open to anyone, that we can just do our own group where you have to have, you have to be admitted into the group or something like that. Yeah, where that's one of our options to work on.
Fantastic. I also wanted to mention that if y'all haven't been to that, the visitor center, it's amazing how much cool stuff is there for our homes. I keep my place stocked with the children's coloring books that they have there. Yeah, it's a nice little gimme for we have children in your unit, and there's just more publications than you can shake a stick at. I hear though, Vonda, about how nice it would be to have comprehensive. It's just that so much has gone digital now. It's that struggle between digital and paper, but yeah, we're lucky to have you guys. Do
And
we?
we're trying to make the visitor center a little bit more of a destination place as well. So that we will have things like exhibits going on in there for history and, things that are going on around town. And, we've already started to work on, like a turtle exhibit. So there's a couple of Girl Scout troops that are working on turtles. So we're gonna put some artwork and some other things like that up in there. So we're kind of making some space in there to be more of a destination as well.
You just gave me a thought. The East End Historic District, where my home is, my home's between post office and church on 15th, and just happens to have been built by former Governor Francis Lubbock. Um, it, the East End has a walking tour, which is awesome, but it also hasn't been updated in a very long time. And I think all these neighborhoods have really cool walking things that could be a walking tour. Have y'all ever considered, not to add to your workload, has the Visit Galveston ever considered coming up with some walking tours?
We actually have the little pamphlet for the East End Historical Walking Tour. So let me know if that needs to be updated, then we can work together to try to get that.
So y'all manage that now?
No, we don't. But I mean,
Okay.
if it's old information in there or whatever, then we'd probably need to look at it again. We don't really the sort of the park board and Visit Galveston sort of take on what it is we do is that we support. There's not a lot of things that we create. So like J.R. Shaw, does his unscripted podcast. We support those kinds of things. We'll support the East End Historical Tour. We've got the tree sculpture tour that we help promote. We generally, if somebody creates that or puts it on, we will get marketing out there for it. We'll, do the lobby cards, whatever we need to do to get the word out there. But we don't put a whole lot of those things together ourselves. It's really kind of that marketing end of thing.
Okay, fantastic.
But if
Guys,
you've got an idea for something, we will be happy to pull a group together.
awesome.
If it needs to be a group that's more of an umbrella thing or involve more people, we will be happy to pull everybody together and get them to work on it and talk about it.
Fantastic. Thank you. Guys, do y'all have any other questions for Dave? I think I've got two last questions. One, what do you think are the three most unsung visitor destinations on the island that we should be highlighting?
Oh my gosh. I think the Galveston County Museum, that's there in the courthouse, doesn't get as much. It's not as popular as it should be. That's just an amazing little jewel that we've got there. Fourth floor of the Rosenberg Library is a really good resource for everyone. And I think the Naya Cultural Center and everything that we're doing with Juneteenth, I think that needs to get to be more popular as well.
Yeah, I just went to that exhibit at Ashton Villa. It was excellent.
Yeah.
No, we're the birthplace. We're where it started. Any updates on? I know Galveston's really gotten into gear on claiming that title, rather than having someplace on the mainland. It's like, no, it's Galveston.
Yeah,
Any updates on
I
that?
know. Yeah, I know that they're still pushing to have a museum built here. I don't know. I think the last time I talked to them, they had maybe identified like half of the funding for it, but still had a lot to go on it. So I'm not sure where it's going yet.
Yep.
Well, and I also feel duty bound. We have somebody in here for the first time who is out in the West End in Jamaica Beach. Any recommendations on stuff we should be highlighting for our guest out that way?
Well, I think certainly anything, maybe not that far, but anything that has to do with nature tourism, Lafitte's
Oh,
Cove and the state park out that way are always going to be really good for things like birding, getting tourists out that way. Yes,
So
sir.
I will add to that. My Canadian people, of course, they're into nature big time. They wanted something with kayaking. And the only thing I knew of was, of course, artist boat. So I did some investigation and found Texas camp company they do kayaking. Oh my God. He was amazing. It was inexpensive. They absolutely loved it. And he is now joining Stroke, or in the
oh,
process of, yeah. But I had no idea he was there. He didn't know who we were. I didn't know who he was. He needs to be promoted. It was perfect. Yep.
What's the
Texas
name of it
Camp.
again?
Mhm.
Texas Camp Company.
Okay.
Yep. It's
I
in
was
the state. He does it.
Yeah, I was just thinking Dave needs to know, be
Yeah.
connected with
Yep.
Sky Outpost.
Yep.
Well, the
Good
nice thing
guy.
about Artist Boat is it also goes towards
Yeah.
preservation of
But they really wanted a nature. They didn't want to do, anyway. Yep.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Galveston Island State Park is wonderful. I was
It's
camping
perfect.
there. Yeah, it's really wonderful. And we went kayaking there through the marsh areas.
Yep. That's where we went.
And it was fabulous. That
It
there's
was
a
beautiful.
company that was set up there, and I don't know if they are set up there all the time. It sort of seemed like they were, or if it was.
I think it's the Texas
Yeah.
Camp Company. Yep.
Oh,
That's
maybe
who it
so,
is.
maybe same
Yeah.
company. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a great experience.
Yeah. He's fairly new, but it's pretty cool. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Well, fantastic. Any other questions for Dave? Actually, I will throw one last one at you, Dave. I know your niche is CTA. Is there anything else at Visit Galveston that is good resources for short-term rental owners that you guys are kind of surprised that we don't take advantage of? I know with there's listings, our homes can be listed. I think that's pretty well known.
Yeah. I can't really think of anything. I mean, just coming in to get things to give your visitors, I think is always, when we get actual visitors to the visitor center, that card rack is like a magnet. They just go straight for it and start pulling off the cards for everything. So I think, having them in your rentals is always a good thing for people to be able to look at. No, I want to be able to keep y'all informed once we start developing some of these informational systems, whether it be Facebook or, Instagram or, an email system or something, to keep everybody just really informed with what's going on so that you can pass it on.
Well, if you don't mind, you've got my personal email address because I'm a CTA, but please also add Strogue with 1G Galveston. I gave him the wrong email address saying it bounced back. And that is an always email address that will reach the board, and we will help promote that.
Okay.
On top of the information and the pin, you get a badge you can use. It's a credential. Yes, sir. Mr. Salva.
Yes, I just had a question. Dave, you mentioned something about a board that has all the pamphlets on.
Yes, we've got it's a card rack. So those rectangular sort of stiff cards they've got information on them. We've got 3 racks in there full of those kinds of things.
So I would imagine it's pretty large. There's a lot of information.
I think probably I can't tell you exactly, but they probably hold, there's probably 50 little cubby holes per rack, per cabinet.
What would be nice is, obviously we can't have all those brochures at our short-term rentals. What would be nice is to maybe take a snapshot or web page of it and have hot links on all those individual deals so people can log on and look at it and click on it and pull up information.
Good idea.
Yeah, that's the wave of the future, isn't it? Everybody's doing it all electronically.
Yeah.
Do y'all have a date yet for the tourism summit?
Yes, it's going to be, it's gonna be in, let me get on my calendar real quick here and see if I can find it for you. Now, this year, it's going to just be a half day.
Oh,
It's not gonna be a full summit.
what are they paring down to make it a half day?
I
Lunch.
think it won't be, there may be a lunch that's gonna be involved in it, but it's not gonna be a lot of the other,
Sure.
a lot of the other programming. Of course, I wasn't, I didn't go to I haven't been to one. But this is just talking with Shauna. I think for this year, they just kind of wanted to pare it down a little bit to just that half day. She's still working, so it looks like it's gonna be Thursday, May the 9th. It may end up being, I don't know. I don't have enough details yet.
Okay.
But it looks like, I think it's looked like on May 9th.
I'm gonna put it tentatively. We'll let our members know about it. We've always had a table edit and present. I know it's always been very well received and well attended. So yeah, I hope there's still room for at least a good number of the breakout sessions and everything.
I'm sure Shauna's going to be sending out information pretty soon.
Okay, fantastic. All right, and also, as Dave mentioned, the board this year, very much, we've talked about it for a long time, and we do want to have a Strogue CTA class. And we are going to offer it virtually because 75% of the short-term rental owners on Galveston Island are virtual. And the more we can bring those virtual owners, those long-distance owners in, the better. There are already plenty of in-person opportunities. So keep your eye out because that date should be announced in the next few weeks here once Dave and I get it set.
And we can do a bunch of y'all. If it's over Zoom, we can do a lot of people.
From your lips to God's ears. Let's be in there. Any other questions, y'all? All right, Dave, I want to thank you so much. You are welcome to stay. I just want to let you know don't feel compelled, but you are genuinely welcome to stay.
Thank you. I'm gonna go eat dinner, I think.
I don't blame you.
But thank you for having me. This was wonderful. Thanks for letting me.
We appreciate the support.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, guys. That was really good to get to reconnect. I just think that's such a great program, it does add some legitimacy to what we're doing and a knowledge base, when we're presenting ourselves as hosts. All right, we're going to go into our business part of the meeting now. The Strogue schedule is on the website, has been since early January. If you go and you have a look. We're having our meeting now. We're working on another goal that we've had as a board is doing a round table. We're hopefully going to get that date set at our next board meeting next week, and we'll be announcing that. We just want to give more networking opportunities. And so, yeah, something we've talked about for a long time. Our next meeting after that, general meeting, will be April 8th, and that'll be in person at Coastal Grill. So we hope to see everybody there. Let me see. I wanted to touch on advocacy. There is, for those who aren't aware, there is a proposed new RO in Galveston. And for those who don't know what an RO is, it's a districting designation that prohibits short-term rentals. Back when they did the LDRs, back when Strogue founded, back in 2013, we were talking about appropriate regulations, and the LDRs got passed in 2015. It was the compromise that came up with, and there are some very strict regulations in order to become an RO. That it's supposed to be, a true neighborhood. It's supposed to be 75% of the owners. Clara Barton neighborhood is now asking to go RO. It's pretty, it's interesting. It's a small section, it's about 40 houses. We're in conversation. We're advocating with the city, and I encourage everybody here. This advocacy is not just the job of the board. Advocacy is all of our job. When I look at the regulations of what got set up for the LDR and how it's being applied, how are these signatures being verified? Right now, the only people who can sign those, who's the only people whose votes get counted are owner-occupied houses. So if you have bought a lot with the intention of building your house there, you have no right to sign pro or con. I think that's an interesting take on the property rights for those people. So there's conversations going on around that. And I encourage everybody to engage in them and be talking to your council members, because they've got their signatures, and they're going along on that. And this is the first one in several years who's gone RO. The other advocacy thing that's going on is in Jamaica Beach, and we do have members in Jamaica Beach. We have I believe a member in here in Jamaica Beach right now, and we have also Patricia. You've also got one of your neighbors, Linda, is in here as well. It's also Jamaica Beach, and I'm so happy to see Jamaica Beach people coming. For those who are not aware, there's some very, very strict short-term rental regulations starting over there. Would one of you guys like to speak to them? What's going on over there? Patricia, you are on mute, dear.
There we go. Okay, can you hear me now?
You sure can.
Okay, so one of the regulations has to do with the amount of people that can stay at our home, so occupancy. And the way they calculate it is based on the number of your rooms times 2 plus 4. So in our case, we have 4 bedrooms. So then times 2 would be 8 plus 4 would be 12. That's one calculation. It's the lesser of 2. The second calculation is based on your square feet divided by 150. And so for us, that makes us 8. So since the 8 is smaller, we're only allowed to have 8 people.
Oh,
Can you give
That cuts our revenue by a third.
so
That's
we
huge.
square footage divided by 150?
Correct. And I asked them where the 150 came from, and they said the fire department has really an amount of 200 square feet per person in a home. So they felt that was too restrictive, so they came down to 150.
That's so funny. That would make mine 14, which is too many people for my personal house. Put them in the rafters.
Right.
It actually increases the amount of people that could stay at my house.
Oh, wow.
It would
And
mine.
And we don't allow that many people in our house.
sure.
You as owners are still going to get to set your own they are giving you a maximum, but you still have the
Oh,
right.
no. So we had it listed for 12, which is comfortable in our home, but we had to reduce any place we have it advertised to only 8.
Oh,
So in talking with the mayor there, she was saying that, kind of off record, that, it's 8 or whatever the number is for you, for your home. But they're not going to be looking at like babies, little kids, things like that.
right.
Where does that line start and stop? Is it 5?
It starts and stops when there's a complaint by your
Right.
neighbor. That's when they're going to look. And so the two things they look at, if there is a complaint, they will look to see what you advertise. They will also look at your contract. So a lot of us have contracts out there, like on Airbnb and VRBO.
Yeah.
They will pull your contract to see if that particular person has an agreement with more than your capacity is allowed.
Wow.
Which honestly, I don't know how that would be based on the fact that like the contract, at least as a manager, it comes to me. It doesn't, it's not public knowledge. It's not something they can pull from Airbnb and VRBO. So
Right.
I'm not sure how they're gonna get that.
Unless
Yeah.
they want to give you a citation, which they will start March 1st. That is the effective date for their citations.
I saw that today.
And they will probably come to you and say, let us see your contract. That would be my guess.
So I'm going to give you guys a little bit of homework. And first off, Patricia, Ron and Winter were also at the meeting. We
Yes.
appreciate you sounding the alarm and being such a good advocacy person that you allowed us to put that out, that we were able to get some people there. And I'd
thank
like
you.
to hear from everybody who was at the, this is what we do. We really truly wanted to know. Has something been sent to you guys that we should be echoing so that people know?
Just today, they send out, here's a list of all the things that we're going to cite and effective March 1st. So I can forward that to you. Absolutely.
Yes, please do. Yeah, Patricia, two of the problems we had was the first time you guys had a meeting, we didn't know until the day before. So, but Winter and I were able to go. Of course, I was talking earlier. It was so packed. I mean, we actually had to go outside and listen to the phone. But the second meeting that you guys had, we got another the day before, or that day also. If we could get a little bit more notice, that would be helpful. It was my birthday the second time, and I had
Oh.
plans. I'm like, sorry, Jamaica Beach, yeah. But so anyway, but that would help for us to get the word out even.
Oh,
Ron-
absolutely. Yeah, the first
Yes.
meeting they had was very short
Yeah.
notice.
Oh,
We-
of course. Oh, I understand. We
The
understand.
we
second
went
one
on to Zoom
know
and
earlier
signed
and
up.
put it out. You were
Yeah.
birthday.
Do what?
We
The
went on
second
to
one we-
Zoom and, go ahead.
The second one we did know earlier and put it out. You were birthday folks.
Oh, well, you know what I mean, right?
Right.
And
was
one
really good
meeting,
It
and
was
one
really good.
meeting, they changed the time to 6
Yes.
o'clock, I believe it was.
That's true. That's true.
And-
It was a mess.
Being that I'm in Houston, to be in person and to drive
Sure.
down there on that short notice. So I believe that meeting they ended up postponing and rescheduled. But the meetings are listed on the Jamaica Beach website.
Gotcha.
Right,
And
right.
I haven't received anything. I haven't even received my certificate yet. So
Oh. Well, how long ago did you request your certificate?
prior to the due date.
Yeah.
My certificate is ready, but I don't know how they're dispersing them, because if we don't live on the, if we don't live there, we can't go pick it up. So I'm not sure yet.
Yes, you
How-
can. So we
I've-
live in Nassau Bay and we drove in to pick it up.
Right. Well, I haven't been able to do that. So I've asked my management company to
Sure.
see if they'll go and pick it up, because I didn't even know. I thought on the website, the March date was unfamiliar to me, that they were going to start fining, because I saw that they were starting to fine on February 9th, I believe.
Right. I thought that was the case too, but I think with the town hall meeting, they pushed it back a little bit to give more people time and to get more feedback in.
Yeah.
And see, there's not much communication.
Yeah.
No.
Well, that's on purpose.
Yeah.
Well,
And that was,
Mhm. An email went out today. I received the exact, I think Patricia sounds like the exact same email. And Linda, to your point, I received notice as well that the certificates were available. I made a phone call because I was curious as well to say, hey, so if we're unable to pick them up, can you mail them to us? And they said that is not standard practice, that they would not be mailing them, and that they should be picked up by either the owner or the management company. So I'm
Yeah.
going out to pick them up. But it sounds like based on the email that went out, and we can forward it to you, but I had to make a phone call because some of mine got registered or got the certificate and some didn't. And so they figured out that there were some lost in the queue. Luckily, I had a confirmation that email had been received and had been
Mhm.
opened. So net of the story is I think we have to do a little bit of covering for ourselves on this, because I mean, listen, while the young lady that they hired has been very reasonable in regards. I think she's probably overwhelmed.
I think
Is this
so too.
Bailey?
Bailey.
Is this Bailey? Right,
Bailey,
she's the one
yeah.
who sent the email out.
Yeah.
Anna, what is your email address?
You please use Strobe Galveston. So it's an acronym right here. Hang on, they're right here, Strobe.
Right,
And then
right.
and then don't put two G's. Just after that G, alveston@gmail.com. And that'll come to the organization. So one thing we're so happy to have you guys in here, and we want to resource you guys and we want to support y'all. But if there's one thing I know after being, what are we now, Ronald, 12 years into advocacy in the city of Galveston, the people they are going to listen to most are y'all. And so what we want to do is be there at the meetings to support you, but also to help you guys in your advocacy. One thing I would recommend, and we saw this in the early days when it was in the city also, I'm just going to be super blunt. One of the least effective arguments I saw was my home has never had any complaints. Because while that's awesome, and that is true, my home has never had any complaints. My home never had any complaints while Colony Park had raging keggers and 40 kids running through their streets in the middle of the night, which is what started the issues in Galveston. And so that's
Yeah.
why I personally, and that's an organization, we hammer the responsible short-term rental ownership. It's why we check everybody who joins the group that you've got to have a GVR number. And that when we, as a responsible owner, if you see a home that's out of compliance and that's a problem, help work with that owner, help work with the city. The sooner that problem gets brought into compliance, the better for all of us. Because it just takes one bad short-term rental and we all get painted with that brush.
Well, that was the argument, one of the arguments that I posed to them, is that instead of, trying to do something in general, take your efforts and focus it towards the homes that are out of compliance, the ones that people are complaining about. Don't, attack in a way, or limit the ones that are, have good short-term rentals. So the second thing that they're trying to do is to limit the amount of short-term rentals in Jamaica Beach. Right now we're around 26%, and they would prefer 10%. So their plan to get to that, their plan to get to that number is to not allow people, when you sell your home, you are not selling it with your certificate. That ability to do a short-term rental goes away.
Well,
So
and that is contrary to I know for a fact, because we were debating this recently in the city, and I've had it. So as long as my home stays if tomorrow Galveston were to put a moratorium, my home is registered as long as it's registered. If I ever allow that to lapse, then it's I'm starting over from scratch. If they were ever to do a restrictions for whatever, my home stays, and I can sell it with the house. And the fact they're not allowing you to, Linda was telling us her story that's her retirement investment. So her pool of buyers, particularly in the West End, where you've got a lot of Houston who have these homes. We bought our home as eventually we want to retire one day, and didn't short-term rental it for a while and decided to. There's a lot of people who do this.
There are a lot of people, yes, and so they're very concerned, and so the mayor's taking that to heart, and so what she's trying to do is to come up with some regulation that will allow it to pass to our heirs as long as they are named in the will and that property is in the will. But there's going to be workarounds, because you're going to see people start putting all these in LLCs or corporations, and then they don't die. So then that it passes. But the way the registration and the permitting process is, it is not a company name. It has to be the name of a person. And so that kind of gets rid of the ability to do it by a trust or an LLC or something. So she's trying to get it down to 10%. And right now, realtors are not wanting to show the homes. We're hearing that they're steering people away to other areas because of all the problems with the rules. So that's starting to devalue our homes. And of course, right now, if we try to sell it, our value would go down as a short-term rental.
You are already affected. I can tell you as the president of this organization, Ronald and I were recently dealing with a realtor, and she said she's got a customer and she needs to know where she can stay an unencumbered short-term rental. I sent her to the park board. I said, here's where all the ROs is. And she goes, well, but what about, and I had to say, if you're considering Jamaica Beach, you need to keep an eye on what's going on there also.
Exactly.
Then they asked about home HOAs, and I said, well, there is no website you can go to and see all the HOAs. That's kind of the Wild West. I am actually right now in the middle of encouraging the park board to they've got those ROs on their website, and to add a list of the HOAs that are known to prohibit short-term rentals, and the contact information for all of them, so people can at least do research, because it's the Wild West trying to figure this stuff out. It absolutely is already affecting your home values.
Well, and that's a strange thing, because typically it is the homeowners association that puts these restrictions in. It's not the city. So
Right.
one of the potential lawsuits out there
Yeah.
is that the city is overreaching. They should not be involved in doing this.
And
So
see,
what-
my home is not in an HOA.
Oh,
My part of Jamaica Beach is not in an
That's
HOA.
they're gonna get you.
I
It's gonna be
didn't know
hook or crook. They're
So
gonna either
that's,
get you if you're not. They're gonna get you your way, Linda. And if you're in a HOA, they're just gonna let the HOA take care of it. So either
Right.
way, it's gonna be a win-win for these people. They know the angles.
Well, and the other thing I wanted to bring up, I mean, cities can make reasonable regulations. I
Sure.
don't want to fall from the deep end of what's reasonable, what's not. Dallas banning all short-term rentals was unreasonable, and it sounds pretty drastic what's going on over in y'all's area. Also, I'll leave it to an attorney to assess if that's reasonable or not. But there's been a lot of discussion about state preemption as well, which would remove a lot of local control, which sounds great. But then when you have a problem, who in Austin are you going to be able to go influence and talk to? Absolutely nobody. And we have found in our 10 years and 11 years in this organization, while it's not perfect, we do have a voice. We do have a seat at the table. And we have been able to move the needle. And we want to help you guys in Jamaica Beach develop. But
thank you. Thank
yeah.
you. We've talked to the police chief and other people there in law enforcement, and their position is they don't have a place to put anybody. Let's say they're called out because there's a party and people are drunk. They don't want to say, okay, you need to leave, because they feel that they're going to be sued if that person dies on their way home drunk, or they don't have really a place to put them. So we've got a really big problem of the police
Wow.
don't feel like they have any teeth to
Yeah.
enforce these restrictions, and that then allows the bad STRs to continue.
Yeah.
Can
Wow.
and I'm just going off the top of my head here. I think it's well past time for them to form a task force like Galveston has with you guys, where you can have the stakeholders in there. And I don't mean just all short-term rental people, but to have, active owners, to have some of the neighbors who are some of the people complaining, to have some of the city leaders to sit at a table and hash some of these issues out.
You're exactly right. We asked for a committee, and after the town hall, we talked to her about it, the mayor, and she said she's not really big into a committee because she doesn't see that anything comes of it other than everybody meeting and complaining. And we can't take a position on the board because we're not residents of Jamaica Beach. And I think that needs to change so that we're fully represented.
Yeah, Patricia, what I would counter to that mayor with, nobody understands how these homes work better than we do. And if you partner with us, we can help you solve some of these problems.
Yeah.
That's been our
She did say one thing positive, and that was we're on the beach side. Linda, I don't know if you're on the beach side or not.
No.
Okay. She did say because our lots are bigger and deeper, we're on Jamaica Beach Road, that she was thinking there might need to be some adjustment on that side as far as capacity, because we can handle more parking. Our driveway can fit like 9 cars. So she's thinking that restriction on the capacity of people is unwarranted on that side of the road.
So, but here's what's going to happen. You're going to have residents counter that with more people, more cars, more party, more trash, more police issues. I mean, we all understand that, but that is not what it's not going to. I don't think it's going to float because that's what they're going to say. It's not I know it's going to sound ugly, but that is. I mean, they're going to use everything they can to counter
Oh, sure.
those things. So be aware, unless you have some evidence or some, beside anecdotal, that's what's going to happen, I think. And a
I
question.
agree, and I just don't think that they're doing their job in enforcing the
Well,
short-term
we
rentals.
we
Now,
understand that.
Now, maybe with March 1st coming, I will.
You guys got a new software just like we did. Do you have a call center associated with it also like we do?
No, we don't. No. And all we're doing right now is we've asked for a list of the complaints, like are they on residence homes? Are they on short-term rentals? Where are
Yes,
they? Because some of the
perfect.
residents have stepped up and said, oh yeah, I've had parties and
Well,
I've
sure.
been, had the police show up. And so, but they don't have those statistics. We've asked for data, no statistics, no log of all the calls coming in, because not only do they call the police department, they call the mayor. So according to the police chief, the mayor is the only one that has all that data that we can't get.
You can
Get 'em, Anna.
FOIA any of that.
Yes, that's what y'all need to do.
You have a legal right to it. Just
Absolutely.
just go to their website.
Get an Oakland's record. Absolutely.
We've actually went in and we've done a request on open records just to find, she mentioned that
Right.
there were some derelict houses, and we
Right.
wanted to find out where they were so that we could actually go in and talk to the owners and maybe buy them and fix them
Right.
up. And when we called after weeks of waiting for the data, they said, well, the mayor really doesn't know which ones they are specifically, and she's going to defer to the new compliance officer that they've hired, and hopefully we'll get an answer in a couple of months.
No,
I mean,
no.
it's-
Open records has a legal requirement, and if they're not meeting it, go to the state's attorney. They
Absolutely. Go to Secretary of
the
State.
office. They can't play around with open records stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're stringing you along.
Yes.
Right. So I want to add a couple 2 cents too, and it's just for a good FYI for you guys. When the Claire Barton, and probably you guys, Jamaica Beach also, but when the Claire Barton whole RO came up, I'm on all those other Facebook, Airbnb, Facebook owners, which are basically people who are trying to put heads in their beds, which is perfectly fine. I don't have a problem with that. But the Claire Barton thing came up, and there were people who actually put comments like, oh, don't worry about it. They legally can't do that. Oh, don't worry about it because they're making too much money to do that. Oh, don't worry about that because Airbnb and VRBO, their lawyers are going to take care of that. All of those are not true. And I put that on Facebook. Those are not true. The LDR, the homeowners association, can do that. Airbnb and VRBO has not helped any city. As Dallas, they haven't helped us. I don't know where these people are getting that information, but it is not true. So they can do it, and they have done ROs. So anyway.
Well, and bringing it back to that, what we need to do as good advocates for short-term rental rights is make sure that the LDR is being followed. And I know there are some concerns.
That's exactly it.
If it is. Guys, we're getting super long, so I'm going to wrap up
Yep.
the advocacy part of this discussion, but I'm really glad we had it because this is, we share your concern with what's going on in Jamaica Beach, and we welcome y'all's participation in the group.
Thank you.
Because quite
Appreciate
frankly,
you guys as well.
well, and I know it's like, well, that's one government and we're another. It's a one island, and we have plenty of owners who own properties in both communities. So, all right. So, membership, vice president / membership. What would you like to bring to us?
Actually, just a couple things. We received a very nice thank you letter from RCC. Every Christmas, this Christmas, we gave a donation to the Resource and Crisis Center, and they sent us a very nice thank you letter. I can read it. It's not very long, but I mean, it's just thanking us for the $500 donation, and our support is vital to the activities to community, et cetera, et cetera. Signed, Cicely Henderson, the executive director, and I know they were extremely happy to receive the money, because I know they were a lot of monies had been cut this last year from their budgets. So they needed everything they could. Something else I would like to add to members. If you have a property that is no longer an Airbnb, or is for whatever reason needs to be removed from our website, you'll have to tell us. We just don't. I don't check them every day. We just can't. So we need that update, and even adding homes. We have people I know, members who anyway. So we need to know about updates on property on our website.
So everybody should check their listings, Ronald.
Check your listing and see if it works. Check and see if what we need to do with it.
Ronald, did we get a Christmas card from anybody interesting?
Oh, we did. I'm sorry. Thank you. Matter of fact, I'm not going to say I threw it away, but I threw it away. So we got a Christmas card from the police chief, which was very nice. Of course, he also said officers and staff. So that was really nice. Yeah, so I think that was nice. As a matter of fact, it was really funny during Mardi Gras. He was actually, I don't know if people knew, was actually the head car in the parade of Mardi Gras, and he was at the red light for a long time. So I was like, "Hey, Chief Bailey, great!" And he was like, "Oh, Ron!" So it was really kind of nice to, And of course, I have to brag. All the people around who I had no idea who they were, and my people are with you were like, "You know the police chief?" And I'm like, "Well, of course, don't y'all?" I was like, "Oh, BS." But it was really nice, and he was there. He was the head car, let me tell you, in his little uniform. So anyway, so we received that.
Well, we consider him a friend of the organization and
We do.
a steward of the island, and we're happy to every time we get to interact with him. Let's move on to the treasurer's report. Suzanne, how much money we got?
Hey, how you doing?
Hey.
Balance right now is 48.95.53, and we've had a few expenses, not many. We had our party and for Christmas party and our donation to RCC. We renewed our GHF membership for $150, and just our $16 a month checking account fee, and our post office box $160. So those were our expenses that we had recently.
Very
Excellent.
good.
I need to add one more thing. Linda, have you submitted a membership application yet? To
I
Stroke?
have not.
Okay, that's fine. No,
This is my first meeting.
No pressure. You have 5 minutes. No, we would love to have you. It's a simple process. You'll fill it out. We're going to vet you, which won't be a problem. And then we vote, and then you're going to get an email saying, "Welcome, send us money, and send us the information over the website." I would encourage you guys to spread the word in Jamaica Beach. And we're not making money we're a nonprofit. We're not making money, but voice is very important, and people, there are a lot of short-term rentals out there, and anyway, y'all know that you see where I'm going with that. So we'd love to have you.
Do you feel like your pockets have been picked?
I know.
Linda.
Oh yeah.
Ronald is our membership chair, and he is good at it. All right. So
Not very.
we have not yet. We're a little slow on our 2024 budget. I believe the plan is to address it at our board meeting next week and bring it to the general meeting in April. Is that what we're doing,
Yep.
Suzanne?
Yeah, that will be
It
in
is
person.
now.
Yep, it'll be perfect.
Perfect. Excellent. All right, Secretary Winter, do we have an update from you?
You have an update from the STR task force. I was told to be a part of that task force with the city of Galveston. And we had our first meeting was in September. The second meeting wasn't held until January, where we're supposed to be meeting. We said we were going to be meeting monthly. So there was just a few things that kind of happened that didn't allow us to meet until January, which was after a council workshop. So it was a very interesting meeting, to say the least. We are now broken up into subcommittees where each subcommittee will basically come back to report to the full task force on whatever topic they were given. So my topic is essentially to say, what are the responsibilities and activities that should be done by an owner, a manager, a platform were the ones they suggested. I'm also going to add a marshal's office. Basically, I think we should add what should be done by the city, the park board. Who, what does that look like from a variety of players, and not just the players that are involved um, with basically short-term rental. Sorry, I thought Ron had his hand up.
No.
Okay, no worries. And there are a variety of task force from, excuse me, a variety of subcommittees. We come together again on February the 28th. And as soon as we have some information from that meeting on the 28th, I'll share with you guys, possibly I don't know if the board meeting will happen, but it may happen at the board meeting level first.
Fantastic. Winter, it sounds like there's some residual confusion or lack of focus on what the purpose of the hotline is. And that's a polite way of saying it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was quite a bit of information, a conversation between one of the council members, Marie Robb, as well as the city attorney. Marie Robb was really pushing in on like the hotline and the function of it and the purpose of it, and why did we need it? And it didn't seem to make sense because the hotline couldn't enforce anything. So there was, and then there's a whole bit of conversation about enforcement and what that would look like. So my biggest concern is that there is a conversation that's happening about how long should it take, like if there's an issue, you have an hour to get there to either call and resolve it or resolve it with your guests. If it's a real issue, then what's the consequence of that issue? And, is that a strike? Does 3 strikes equal something? But basically there will be major issues, minor issues. And I'm doing my best here to advocate for us, because when it comes down to it, it definitely feels like we're being pushed in a direction in the direction of being punitive. And I get that there should be some bad players should be punished, but my response is from a responding in an hour. If a doctor gets paged from a burst appendix, he has 30 minutes to an hour to get there. We get that same call and notice for someone who left a trash bag on the outside of a trash can. Like, those two don't quite seem equal to me. It feels like there might be some conversation that we should have about what's realistic and what's not.
Well, and not only what's realistic and what's not, but also I don't have a problem with, because they need to have tools to deal with irresponsible owners. They just do.
Agreed.
3 strikes and you get to have a conversation. You're called in and you get to have a conversation about your registration. I have no problem with that. 3 strikes and you lose your registration and you have to get it back seems draconian.
So
And
I have a comment, and Winter, this is for you, and maybe if you could somehow, in a polite, professional way, unlike I'm probably going to discuss it. So Chris was at the last council workshop meeting, and I watched it. And I really had an issue with Councilman Marie Robb. She made a couple of statements that I had issues with. One was, and it was about the call center. She had received, hundreds of calls, and blah, 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 and the call center is not working. I don't know why we have it. So here was some of my problems. Our mayor, one, did not address her and say anything like, "Oh, well, Marie, Did you forward those to the park board? Did you let your constituents know that they shouldn't be calling you specifically, or they can, but this is the procedure now? We have a call center, nor did David, who is chair in the STR, say the same thing. Another question that I didn't hear anyone at council say was, well, interesting, Marie, you're the only one getting hundreds of phone calls. The other 6 of us are not. So I don't know. It needs to be. It seems like she's trying to, for me, railroading it. And she may be getting all these calls, and I understand that because that's where the issues are. But she's not. She is not letting the system work. And another question is, well, Marie, did you call Bryson and give him the names and numbers of these houses that they can look at? So those are questions.
Ronald, everything needs to be funneled over to the call center, and rather than her trying to vet them.
Oh, I totally agree.
That way, because quite frankly, if it happens outside the call center, it's hearsay. And the other thing that it needs to be clarified that the call center is for code violations only. It is not for urgent police matters. Those should be called.
I totally agree. But she needs to be put in check. Instead of saying it's not working because she's not, in my opinion, she's not allowing it to work. But anyway, you're absolutely right. But she needs to be called on the rug about it. And no one at council at that meeting did. They just let her rant and rave. And I'm like, and it could all be true. But there's some things she's doing that she's not doing, is all I'm saying. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Say yes. Okay.
I would urge conversations about the appropriate use and expectations of that call center, and that it should be for code enforcement. And again, the different levels of responses. I don't think a throwing trash can at midnight is an emergency anybody should be woken up for.
Right. I'll follow up, as I shared with I'll have a follow-up conversation. It's really hard. I said this out loud. I'll say it again. It's really hard to volley a ball to yourself.
Yep, it is. Oh, absolutely. That's
so
a good point.
When I'm sitting in the task force meeting, I can make as many. I mean, there were some very absurd comments made, and hitting the ball to yourself and showing up on the other side of the table to hit it back to yourself has not been. It's been a challenge. I'm going to continue to show up for it, but when it comes down to it, I'm really concerned about what this next meeting will hold. Put it on the record.
Thank you.
Good. I think so.
All right, and we should all be advocating with our council members, our mayor and our council members on these matters. We need to get an email out to the membership to that effect. All right, guys, we are over time, so I'm going to real quick. Marketing. We are in the formation stages of a marketing committee. When we've got more information coming out from that, which will hopefully be very soon, we will come share it with the board, with the general membership. The May tourism summit, we already know about that. One other thing I wanted to mention is keep your eye on what's going on with the city and the park board for those of us who are Galveston homes. I still see that ball going back and forth, and a pull to move HOT and things like that over to the city. And I remember the not so distant past where we would send in our HOT and our checks would disappear, not get cashed, nobody would answer the phone. I think the park board does an amazing job on HOT collection, on HOT registration. I'd like to see the city get more efficient and streamlined on their enforcement. So I'd love to see them get a better handle on that before they even consider taking over anything else. But that's just my opinion. Our next meeting. Any other business? Anybody have anything else they need to bring up? All right. As I mentioned before, our next meeting is April 8th. There are a couple things in the cooker between now and then that we will notify people by email. Linda, we're so glad to have you visit with us tonight, and I promise not to let Ronald shake you down.
Oh, I know where you live now, sister.
No, but seriously, we want to be here for you and for all short-term rentals on the island. So, can I have a motion to close this meeting?
Motion, yes, someone
Do we have a
second it.
second?
I'll second.
All in
Perfect.
favor?
Aye.
All opposed? This meeting is hereby closed.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Bye.